So today I want to talk about how to fill out those pesky little tutoring summaries that I keep mentioning. The summaries are important, and I want to talk about why those are important. The summaries are how we gather data on what happened in the tutoring session and how the student did in those tutoring sessions, and even more importantly, whether or not we need to follow up with that student if maybe they're exhibiting some mental health distress, if they're indicating that they're depressed, if they have high anxiety, if there's things that the counselor could be doing to help them better focus in their tutoring sessions, then we need to know. And those summaries really help us narrow that information down so we can best assist the student. So to fill out a tutoring summary, and tutoring summaries, by the way, should be filled out within 24 hours of the appointment. If they're not, and they're not done in a timely manner, then you do run the risk of not being paid your administrative time, because the administrative time takes into account that you are filling out these summaries as your sessions happen. Best practice is just to fill out the summary right after the tutoring session, so don't even leave the room. Just stay there, fill out the summary, and then go, preferably after the student leaves. So to do this, we go into appointments. And under appointments, we're going to see active. So these are ones that are coming up, but we want to go to archived, because archived appointments are where the appointments that have happened live. And we're going to search for me, because I'm going to use my student as an example. So you can search for yourself to find your archived appointments, because you'll notice here that these go all the way through September 16th, 2015. We don't want to go that far back. So if we just search for our names, you can also filter by start date. So if I go in here and I say, okay, well, I know I met with this student recently, I'm going to put that week in there, and then I apply that search. There's my student. And so I'm going to go and edit this appointment. This is how you get into your tutoring summary. You go to this little button here, this little pencil mark. You'll click that. And you're going to see this is where the appointment was created. This is the appointment creation information. You'll see whether or not this is a recurring appointment. And then down here we'll see, did this appointment happen? And this is part of the summary. So this tells us, did the student cancel, or did they go on with the appointment and show up? Now, even if the student cancels ahead of time, I still want you to go in here and state whether or not this appointment was canceled. That's important information for us to track, and Insight is our only tracking mechanism right now. So always, 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 regardless of when the student cancels, fill out that cancellation in here, as well as in the other cancellation form. There's just two ways in case Insight goes down that I can track that. So in this case, yes, the appointment happened, but if the appointment hadn't happened, I would select no. What was this appointment? Why was this appointment canceled? Student didn't show up, requested to cancel appointment within 24 hours. Here's why I say this needs to be done regardless. Requested to cancel appointment outside of 24 hours. You can't make the appointment. I need to know that. So if the tutors aren't showing up to the appointments or you're canceling appointments, I want you to record that, please. Create an appointment for wrong date, other, those kinds of things. And then any additional information we need to know. So if did the student indicate that they were having a mental health day? Did they indicate they were depressed, anxious? What were the reasons that they gave you for canceling? Because that helps us follow up with them. But in this case, the student did show up to the appointment, so he was on time. And then the preparation, in this case it was advising, so he didn't have a whole lot of preparation that we needed to go through. But for tutoring, you want to select something here. They were prepared, weren't prepared, forgot some things, other. If it's other, you can, I believe, state down in the notes what was going on. What did you work on during this section? This tells us what you worked on with the student, but not only that, it leaves you a record of what you worked on with the student. So sometimes the student will come in after 2 or 3 weeks and you don't remember what you worked on with them last. This is a great way to go back to your appointments and see what you put in there so that you can follow up with the student and say, okay, well, we worked on this last time. Where are you at now? But it also helps us as counselors to go in and check what our student might need a little extra help with. So this is what we worked on during the session. And so when they come to us with a similar or different issue, we can go in and review this as well. And that helps us narrow down what services we're providing. Share suggestions you had for the student and or skills you taught the student. What did you work on in the session that was outside of the range of academia, right? Did you work on study skills? Did you talk about time management? Did you talk about procrastination? Did you connect the student with a counselor? Did you refer them to another resource like our counseling center? that information we need to know, and that information can be recorded here. Based on the session, do you feel the student's LEP counselor should follow up with the student? If yes, state why. So this information helps us know if we need to follow up with that student and check on them. That's really, really important, because sometimes I think, particularly if you're tutoring at night or on the weekend, you might forget when you get back on Monday to come in and tell us that, the student said something concerning. So we get reports weekly sent to us. And so if we see a big glaring yes right here under this section, we're going to follow up with that student and make sure they get the help that they need. And this is the portion that the student would normally fill out. So in this case, it's blank because I made this appointment form. So once you've finished based on the session, do you feel the student's LEP counselor should follow up? Then you're going to go down here and you're going to hit submit. And that goes into the student's record. Okay, and we can see these appointments, we can see the summaries. It helps us track our students a little bit better, and it helps us track kind of what services we need to provide to really tailor our responses to that student's success, if that makes sense. We want the students to be successful, so we have to meet them wherever we're at. And because the tutors see the students in some cases a lot more often than the counselors do, we rely on you guys to tell us when the student is experiencing distress or they're experiencing difficulty. So that's why these session summaries are so important, and I really need you to fill them out, again, within that 24-hour period after the session occurs. If you have something that prevents you from doing that, please communicate that to me or your lead tutor. And as always, if you have any questions, let me know and I'll do my best to assist. Other than that, thank you guys for watching and have a great day.